Hi dear feminist, and welcome to the 5th episode of this podcast. Today we'll be talking about the second half of the third wave. My name is Bente.
My name is Miriam.
And I'm Samira.
So did you guys did anything on the weekends? The long weekend we had.
It was my dad's birthday and we celebrated that.
Happy birthday to him.
Thank you.
And you, Samira?
Yeah, I did a 10-kilometer walk with my friend. And
Wow.
yeah, got a blister on my feet.
Oh.
It kind of hurts because I went walking in my new shoes. So it's not a smart idea.
That's so smart.
Yeah, I know. And you? Did you do anything?
Yeah, well, I had to work this weekend, and on Saturday I went out in our local pub. It isn't really a pub, but
Like a club.
yeah, but it also isn't a club. It's
A
like
kroeg.
a kroeg. That's what we call it.
Yeah.
Like a
It's like a- it's like
a pub.
Like a cafe, some sort of.
Yeah.
We are going to start off today's episode with a short explanation of post-modernism. Post-modernism is an art movement that arose around 1960s. In this art movement, it is believed that the reality can be seen and experienced in different ways. Postmodernists are influenced by the sense of life, and instead of believing in an ideal for the future like in a modernism, living in the here and now was the main focus. They are also of opinion that knowledge is never neutral, due power being firmly anchored in language and think structures. The earlier adopted positions are questioned in this movement, and central beliefs are getting punctured. The reason I'm telling you all of this is that in the 90s, the postmodernism took a part in the third wave of the feminism movement. As the second wave looked at gender and sex as two separate things, namely respective sociable and biological sex, the postmodern feminists in the third wave have rejected these categories. These rigid categories are too narrow-minded to explain the reality in the opinion of the postmodern feminist. They have created a space for a larger continuum where male and female are just seen as the two extremes. The word gender fluidity also makes its appearance, and it turns the idea of gender identity and biological sex being parallel upside down. It is made very clear in the third wave that the expression and the identity of gender don't fit in the defined categories and that it can change over time. The binarity of the biological sex is called into question by the addition of a new concept, intersex. An intersex person is someone with gender characteristics of a male as well as a female. The gender topic is part of the LGBTQ plus movement. Does either of you know what these letters stand for and what the plus means?
I know the
do.
letters. I
Yeah.
don't know the plus.
I think the plus is like for everything else. Like not only just like the letters, but there are like way more
Yeah.
things you can.
Do you want to try for the letters, all the meanings?
Lesbian? I don't know the order.
Homosexual,
Oh,
just
gay.
Hetero?
It
Is
is-
that one?
No.
bisexual.
Hetero is not a
Queer.
one in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you have lesbian, gay, bisexual, LGBT, queer.
Queer.
LGBT.
You have the letters in front of you,
Yeah,
right?
I know. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer. And the plus stands for things as pansexual or demisexual, asexual, like kind of everything else.
What's the one where you do fall in love but don't have the sexual?
Asexual.
Yeah.
That's asexual.
Yeah, you also have aromantic. That's where you don't fall in love in a romantic way.
That's just
Okay.
sex.
It could be, but you could also be aromantic and asexual at the same time.
Okay.
So then you have no interest in any of those. Well, I do think I fully believe in like the three genders. The other 97.
Yeah, it's like
Are quite
how can you
confusing
have
to
like
me.
so many?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
What-
really know
what-
what they are.
What three genders do you
Well,
mean?
just male, female, and non-binary. This LGBTQ movement could be backed up with the so-called queer theory. The queer theory explores the origin of sexuality and normativity based on gender, but also how the identity of gender and sexuality, just as hetero and homosexuality, are defined in the society. One of the goals of the queer theory is to One of the goals of the queer theory is to redefine what is normal or acceptable. This theory highlights the nature of sexualities, and it puts the binary categories as well as the socially established norms open for discussion, especially the next few classifications. So we have sexual with homosexual and heterosexual. We have gender, male and female, class, rich and poor, and the last one is racial, white, and non-white.
So how do you think this is today? What's your opinion about it?
Well, I do think it is more redefined and accepted because, like the whole conversation we just had, non-binary, for example, is more accepted and it is more seen as normal. Not everywhere, but I think it is more than it used to be. Same for sexualities and such things. Like it's way more accepted and it's like way more normal to be gay or bisexual or queer.
Yeah.
So I think that's obviously a very good thing. Another thing that started in the third wave around the 90s is the dual earner model. In this model, there are two partners that earn an income. This means that there wasn't always a so-called traditional family anymore, where the man was the only breadwinner and the woman always had the role of the housewife or a mother. This change could take place because in the 90s, the opportunity for women to study had become bigger due to the democratization of the education system. The increased ability for women to study resulted in a stronger position on the labor market, and this then led to women working outside the house more often. Even though the economic independence has been a priority in this emancipation movement for women, it has never been as close as in these years. Women could already study and work, but when they did, they were looked at as if they didn't know their place. This was less the case as of now. Now women weren't home with the children all the time. The government went about reforming the social services. For example, investments were made in childcare facilities. Variable working hours and part-time work were made possible and the leave of absence arrangement were changed.
How is this at your families? Who are the breadwinners there, or is it equal?
Well, my mom is working part-time and my dad is working full-time. So my dad is like the breadwinner, as they would say. But yeah.
Yeah, my mom is working part-time, I believe. But sometimes, like, she had times where she had, like, 2 jobs. And my dad is, like, a full-time job. But more, the reason it's not my mom doesn't have, like, a part-time job because she has to take care of the house or something. She just didn't have, like, really high education. So she don't really have much choice, I think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Well, at my house, my parents both work full time, so it's very equal at our house.
That's great.
yeah. Oh, to be honest, I don't really know if my mom works full-time or not because I believe she works, most of the time she works 4 times a week.
Well, my mom has less hours per week than my dad, but she still works full time.
Yeah. My mom has much less hours than my dad, but my dad like wakes up at like 5 or 4 a.m. and
Yeah.
works
4
until
a.m. Wow.
and works until 5 p.m. So that's
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
that's going to be more hours
Yeah.
than
Yeah,
waking up
that's
at like
odd.
8,
Yeah.
working till 4. So
Yeah.
yeah.
1 week she works like 3 days, another 4 days.
Oh yeah.
It depends if she has the weekend off or not.
Yeah, but it is good that it's more equal now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And it's more of a choice, I think,
Yeah.
because some people just don't feel like working full time because some people just can't handle it or just don't want to.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, my parents had like education, like they could study after they graduated high school.
Yeah.
But like my grandparents didn't. I mean, I don't know if it's for
No.
you also the same, that your parents could go study.
Yeah.
I don't really know much about my parents' educational thing. I just know my mom went to like the household school or something. So that's why she's a cleaner now.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm a cleaner too.
I'm too in the holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing.
We're all cleaners.
Yeah.
I'm not.
That's not a good representation, by the way.
No. No. I don't see a lot of men as a cleaner.
No, that's no for real.
But like for like windows, like outside.
That's men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My little brother does that. And I mean, a lot of guys I know do it. That's the cleaning that they do, but like not in the house.
They don't
like outside of the house.
Yeah, they don't do like the vacuum cleaning.
We have talked about this before in the second wave. How are we feeling about this?
As we said in an earlier episode, that there's still a wage gap. Yeah, I think that needs to change because I don't see why that's still a thing.
Yeah, why women should get paid less for the same job.
Yeah, I
I
still
get it.
don't
It's
understand it.
problematic. Yeah, but I saw a TikTok this morning about a girl who explained in her when you do like a job interview what you have to ask for, so you don't get paid less. So you don't come with like, oh, I want to be paid this, because that's usually less than what the company wants to give you. You have to be more like, what do you think I should earn of like a job like me, what that should earn, what would you pay for that? And then you can like negotiate on what kind of wage you want to get paid for the job.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's again for a higher ranked job, because if I go to my job, like my last job, I was paid like minimum wage, and like if I was paid more, I would have stayed, but I could be paid more somewhere else. But they were just like, yeah, we can't do anything about it. That's fun for you, but bye. So
yeah, I think
if you're like
after you graduate, like that kind of job, like
like
adult jobs,
a full-time job,
yeah,
etc. Yeah, I think then you have more negotiating to do.
Yeah.
Another topic we have spoken about before are the reproductive rights. This is still going on in this wave. So they campaigned for women to make their own choice about their own bodies and named the possibilities of contraception and abortion a basic right. In 2004, a large protest march named March for Women took place in Washington, D.C. against the restrictions and the ban of partial birth abortion. This protest is attended by second and third wave feminists, activists, and also celebrities. The law for this ban remained in place, and restrictions to reduce the possibilities of an abortion were introduced, for example, the required parental or spousal consent. What's your opinion about these restrictions, and how is this in the present?
I believe we're going to talk about this in the 6th episode as well.
Yeah.
But about the consent of this family or spouse, like I do understand where they're coming from, I think, but because like if it's his child as well, he should have maybe an opinion about it.
Yeah,
but I'm saying not like the woman should decide because it's her body.
Yeah, it's her body.
But I just mean that because like the reasoning for like the consent of the spouse, I think it's because he's the parent as well, so that they're like he should have an opinion as well.
Yeah. But the women decides.
Yeah, indeed. But the women decides. I believe. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's still a thing that the spouse has to give consent, because I don't really like. I only mean that.
I hope not.
No, same. I only like meant with this saying this that I understand where the rule was coming from, but I don't think it's a good rule. I think the woman should just decide on her own. Like the woman, it's her body. She has to
carry it.
She has to carry it. She has to feel the pain. She has to do everything, and the man only.
Yeah, if he like decides like, oh, I don't want this baby anymore, he can't just leave, while the woman is, still carrying it.
Yeah, and
they have to take care of it.
Example, when it was like a one-night stand or something, and the spouse. Yeah,
it's not really a spouse.
No, yeah, the partner at that time.
Like, the partner at that time have to like, for example, give consent, and well, then you're just fucked.
Yeah.
What makes the third wave different from the previous waves is the influence of media and pop culture, just as the relevance of the voices of teenagers and adolescents. To give some example, more female characters appeared in movies and series who showed a strong feminist side. Think of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, a series with a teenage girl in the lead that started in 1997 and went on until 2003. There are also messages about developing strength for women spread by music from girl bands as Bikini Kill and Riot Grrrl. Zeg maar girl, but with like
girl.
Yeah, zeg maar GRRL. Like
Girl.
like a
Girl.
yeah. It's kind of weird,
Yeah.
but it's hard to pronounce. The teenagers listening to the music of these and similar bands started discussions about topics such as the body image and the patriarchy. The feminists were also busy reclaiming words used by the patriarchy to label or oppress women. Bitch and slut are examples of reclaimed words.
Do you happen to know any movie or series with an important female character or music that spread a feminist message and any words you want to get reclaimed?
Well, I do know the movie of the movies, Legally Blonde, which is very stereotypical, but it's also...
Of a dumb blonde.
Yeah, it's also kind of feminist, I in my opinion, because, well, she she goes to the law school for a boy.
Yeah, to Harvard.
Yeah,
It's
to
not
Harvard.
just a law school.
She goes to Harvard for a boy, to impress a boy. But later she's like, well, maybe I should just not do it for this guy, but just for myself. And then she like really tries, and she actually gets to be a good lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of feminist, but like the start of it is kind of...
Yeah, I mean, it's also like a movie from like a while ago, so I think for that time period.
Yeah, it's like, I don't really know when it was made, but... Oh,
Yeah.
and another movie I just thought about, Lara Croft.
Tomb Raider.
Yeah, there are
Tomb Raider.
multiple Lara Croft movies, I believe.
Yeah.
But she's like a strong woman. The only
Mhm.
problematic thing about it is her clothes, because it's always kind of naked.
Sure. Yeah, but also not that naked. Yeah, she just has like a top and some shorts.
Yeah, but like really short.
Yeah.
But I do think like she's like the main character, a kind of a badass woman. So
Yeah.
I think
I have never heard of her.
No.
No.
Oh, how can
And
you?
I haven't never seen Legally Blonde.
I've watched it
Wow.
last year for school. Otherwise, I
Oh, yeah.
wouldn't have watched it. So there's also this song from Dua Lipa, which is called "Boys Will Be Boys," and if you just like listen to the lyrics, it's like just insane, because she starts with like, "It's second nature when you walk home at night that you have like a key between your knuckles to make sure like boys around you can like, you know, defend yourself." And she's also said like, boys will be boys, but girls will be women. And I think
That's true.
Yeah, it's true. Like, if we don't teach boys how to like act or how to be different, then they just will be boys. And girls, they have to grow up and just live with like all the things that they get
Yeah.
to.
We have to learn to live with boys. Which
Yeah.
which is the
We have
problem.
to learn to be safe.
Yeah, safe.
And boys have to learn how to behave.
Yes.
Very good.
Does it rhyme? Safe, behave. Hey,
Wow.
starting a new quote.
So we've reached the end of the third wave, but I'm sure we're going to come back to some of these topics in the next episode. What are we going to do, Miriam?
Yes, next episode we will also talk about some celebrities that are feminists or activists. We will also talk about abortion, especially in America, because there happened a lot in the last year. But that's for next episode.
I'm excited.
Yes, me too.
Fun. Thanks for listening, and we hope we see you back for the last episode, sadly. Don't forget to follow our Instagram, which is called theirfeminist.podcast.
Yep.
And hopefully we see you next time.
Bye. Wat een ellenlange opname.